Welcome, everyone, to Inside Gators Football, presented by UF Health. I'm Sean Kelley, and, of course, the head coach of the Florida Gators, Billy Napier. Florida loses at LSU this past weekend by a count of 20-10, and the headline probably is turnovers. Takeaways, Coach. We'll talk a lot about what went on for the Gators this past weekend, and there's plenty of positive, especially on the defensive side of the football. But, Coach, let's start with that headline. As we look back at Saturday, you've now had time to study it more. DJ Lagway throws the 5 interceptions. What did you glean from your study of that part of the football game on Saturday night?
Well, when the student struggles, I think it's important for the teacher to take a good look in the mirror. So I think, we've got to help DJ. We have to play a little bit better around him. We have to help him situationally, and then he's got to stick to his parameters, work his way through his progressions, and then have some awareness of the situation and the context of the play. So, there were some challenging looks, and then there are some routine plays that he's very capable of making. So, in general, I think a little bit of everything contributed to it.
Coach, how does the teacher help the student now after getting a failing grade on that test?
Yeah, well, I think we go back to our process in terms of how we prepare. I think we have to understand the type of team that we're evolving as a team. I think it's important to understand where he's at due to all the missed time. And then we have to adapt, we have to play in a way that he can play with confidence, and I do think that he's going to get better each week. I do think LSU has a terrific defensive group. And their DC did a great job of mixing it up. But in general here, it's back to the process, Sunday to Saturday, get the guy ready to go play.
I think there are questions amongst fans and observers of Gators football right now that saw, let's be honest, a bit of a small sample size for him at under center last season to what they're seeing now. I know that it can kind of get lost in the statement you just made, but missed time, those two words, are key. When you look back at where DJ was when he was at his best last year and where he is now, how do you bridge that? Is it simply missed time, or are there things that he's got to get back to in some way? I guess I'm trying to bridge here the gap.
Yeah, no, I think that this is a kid whose confidence comes from his work ethic, and I think that he's a grinder. He's in the middle of the action, and he's worked himself into being an exceptional player. And when you take spring ball away from him, you take training camp away from him, and then here we go. We're playing on the road in the SEC and not quite as sharp, a little late, maybe a blink short inside. I think that those things start to show up. So, look, I think we got to work with him, work alongside each other. To me, I think that's my responsibility, and I think I have to do my part to help him realize where he's at and try to help him going forward.
As we mentioned, the turnovers are the headline. Coach, before we get to a lot of good positives from this past weekend, any other deficiencies for the Gators that did not lead to winning football this past Saturday?
Well, takeaways are the difference in the game, and in particular, right before halftime, the pick six, and then obviously they're late when we're down 10, we throw another one where we're on the kick line. So we're talking about 13 points, ultimately that we contributed to them. So, I would say outside of that, man, I was really proud of the way the team competed. We showed up with an edge. We had a chip on our shoulder. The effort was there. The toughness was there. And they played their tail off. I mean, I thought it was an impressive outing by the defense. We executed the kicking game plan. We neutralized the returners. Look, we had 23 first downs. We had 366 yards, and we probably left 150 out there. So in general, I think the team was ready to play. We just got to take care of the ball a little bit better. I think we end up with a different result.
No doubt. The defense, by the way, held LSU to 10 first downs for the entire game. 11 straight games now, the Gators have not allowed their opponents to score on their opponent's first offensive touch. Coach, George Gums led the team in tackles, had a forced fumble as well. Dijon Johnson got an interception. There's a lot to talk about with the Gators defense that now has put together a body of work through 3 games that I thought really was displayed nicely against LSU.
Yeah, picking up where we left off last year. I think we started with three straight 3-and-outs. Like you mentioned before, 9 first downs, excluding the long run at the end of the game. Really defended the skill well. Minimal explosives in the game. And we won the explosives, we won the first downs, we won time of possession. The takeaways were the difference in the game.
A couple other notables. Vernell Brown III had 2 punt returns, each for 20 yards. You got Jaden Ball involved in the passing game, Coach. He had a career-high 7 receptions, none prior to the game on Saturday. What led you to get Ball more involved there, and how did he fulfill that vision?
Well, screen game we felt could be impactful. They were a sack-happy group, very aggressive rushers, primarily a 4-down front, so the rush lanes were clean to get out on the screens. And then obviously we felt good about the matchup, the running back linebacker matchup. So, 13 touches for Jaden. We need to get him more, but in general, he's a guy that can catch the ball and do things with it.
The margins are razor thin. 10 points off turnovers, the difference in the ball game, as LSU wanted 20-10. Coach, thank you. We'll talk more about this upcoming week next time we visit. Head coach Billy Napier, I'm Sean Kelley. That's Inside Gators Football, presented by UFL.